Real quick, let's go through today's announcements so we can spend more time talking about the grow process. So today's video is sponsored by Spider Farmer, who have developed a range of cutting-edge LED grow lights that harness the power of technology to optimize plant growth while also providing the ideal spectrum of light, giving your plants everything that they need to flourish. They got the GGS Series Pro controller, 5-liter humidifiers, dehumidifiers so you can nail the right humidity through all stages of plant growth, hydro grow systems, and self-watering kits. Anything you need, Spider Farmer's got you covered. Real quick, be sure to follow and subscribe to us over at Radscene on Twitch. We go live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We do toke sessions, answer grow questions, play a lot of Dead by Daylight, vibe out, so pull up and hang out. Welcome to today's episode of our Organic Grow Guide mini-series. Today we're going to be covering the mid to late flowering. So after this video, we're going to have 2 more videos covering our Grow Guide mini-series, and that's going to be the end of the series. So I wanted to come out with this mini-series so that way you guys have a step-by-step reference guide on top of the Bean to Harvest videos that I have in my playlist. So if there's anything that you guys are curious about and have questions about, you can always refer to the Grow Guide mini-series for any kind of help. And of course, you can ask me as well. Before we do get started with today's video, and I know many of you that have been watching me over the years will tell me that I do not need to explain myself, but I've seen a lot of new people on the channel, and I would like to. I really want to explain myself. I know haters are going to tell you that I don't know what I'm doing in my videos. They're strictly for beginners. But my ways, they are tried and true. And that's not to say that other people don't know what they're talking about, because they do. There's more than one way to grow. And if anyone has doubts about my capabilities, you can go on my Discord or Instagram, or you can go to my Harvest playlist that I have on my channel so you can see some of my work. I'm going to have the links to those in the description and at the pinned comment down below. Right now, I'm not growing because some people have ruined that for me, but we are planning on moving to either Ohio or Michigan. I really miss growing, to be honest with you guys. It's something I've done for a long time, and it's just weird not to do it now, but I'm hoping you guys will at least stay patient with me after all these years, because once we get out there, we're gonna get back to what we do, and I still enjoy seeing what you guys are running over on Discord. I love the passion and determination, because at the end of the day, that's what keeps us going, and I'm here to teach you guys how to grow and vibe out and have a good time. Whether it's watching my videos, or if you guys want to check out some of the runs that I did from the past grows, like the Black Cherry Bliss or the Cheddar Cheese or the Apple Betty, you definitely can. And you could always come hang out with me in the afternoons on Twitch. If you guys have any questions about the growing process, I'm a really easy man to get a hold of. So having said that, let's get right into the mid to late flowering stage. Now, the last Grow Guide mini-series video that we did, we covered the first 3 weeks of flowering. So now we're going to be covering week 4 and beyond until the end of flowering, and we're gonna kind of touch up on the dry process a little bit too. Weeks 4, 5, and 6 I think are the most crucial ones, because those are the weeks that we've been spending all this time getting ready for. This is what we've been working for right here, right now, the flower stacking weeks. Everything else that you did before this, it's to set yourselves up until now. The super soil mix, it doesn't really change except for one little itty bitty thing. I like to replace the insect fed bat guano, which is higher in nitrogen, and I know I did mention this before, but I wanted to brush up on it in case you guys are curious if I change anything during the mid to late flowering stage. And I don't, just a little bit though. I switch up the insect fed to the fruit fed bat guano. So I'm pretty much trading a little bit of the nitrogen for a little bit of the phosphorus. But everything else kind of stays the same. See, you don't want to skip out on your nitrogen levels, but don't forget, you have other amendments that are going to make up for those nitrogen levels. So like fish bone meal has nitrogen in it. There's still going to be nitrogen in the fruit fed bat guano, just not as much as the insect fed bat guano. And you're still going to have the crab meal that also has nitrogen in it. So it's not like you're going to be depleting your nitrogen levels. You're just swapping out the nitrogen and phosphorus levels with the bat guano that you're going to be using. You're still doing your monthly top dresses, so that does not change. You're still going to sprinkle them worm castings every 2 weeks, so that way your ladies are going to be able to ration out the amendments that you already gave them, so that way they're going to last you until next time you have to top dress them. So all of that is still going to stay the same. Now that we got that part out of the way, let's talk a little bit about what you're going to be doing differently mid to late flowering as far as like your PPFD levels are going to go. And we're going to be going by the metrics that you'll be using with the Photon app. So that's primarily what I feel like a lot of people are using. The first 3 weeks of flowering, I like to ease them into it. So I'll go between 475 and 550 ppfd, like I mentioned in the last video. Now, when you get into week 4, I like to bring it up to about 650, 700 ppfd. And then week 5, you can bring them up to like 900. I understand that the sun hits at 2000 ppfd, but let's not compare the outdoor environment to a confined indoor space. It's just not the same thing. I think 900 is the magic number that most ladies can handle, and a lot of them, they can handle 1000 or even a little bit more. But the point that I'm trying to make is once you hit week 6, you can push it to 1000, but dial it back if you need to. Now, what you have to realize is not all of your ladies, they're not going to respond the same exact way. They're not robots, they're living things. That's just Mother Nature. You're going to have to make some fourth quarter adjustments, and that's what's going to separate you as a grower. You're going to have to tweak things throughout your different runs because not every plant is going to respond the same way. The main goal as far as lighting goes is to have distance and power between your lights and your ladies, kind of like the sun. You can hit them with high ppfd, but you don't want your lights to be too close unless you have that green spectrum. Then it's a little bit more forgiving, and that's based on my own personal experience from the last few runs that I did last year. As far as your watering practices go, during the beginning of flowering, we've already established the trick to figuring out your watering frequencies. Remember how I told you in the last mini-series episode that you would stop watering in the beginning of flowering and then subtract the day when they would start getting thirsty? Well, that part doesn't change. We don't need to go over that because we already did. You want me to go over that watering trick? Just go into the Grow Guide mini-series playlist. Click, I think it's going to be the last video that I did where I talk about the first few weeks of flowering. Now, I'm not trying to regurgitate information that I already told you guys. You already know it. That's really the whole point of this Organic Grow Guide mini-series, so I don't have to regurgitate the same information. So after I finish this, we can start going into more advanced tips because I know that's what you guys have been waiting for. Now, as far as temperature and humidity goes during flowering, my answer might be a little bit different than most people. I really don't know what most people say, but like I said, you guys can go and check out some of my work. But like temperatures, I like it to be like in the low to mid 70s, so between like 70 75 degrees, and I like the humidity to be at a solid 60% if I can help it. Anything between 50 and 60% is fine during mid to late flowering. Here's the thing though, if you have higher humidity during flowering, because maybe some of you guys live maybe like in Florida where the humidity is a little high, that's okay. You're not going to get mold as long as you have good airflow. So make sure you have a floor fan, right? Maybe have like a towering fan, like a tower fan, and then make sure you have your overhead fan. So that way there's going to be zero, of course, make it oscillating. That kind of goes without saying. So that way you are covered from bottom, middle tier, and upper tier where your canopy is. So let's talk about the end of flowering. Now, this is what I like to do. If you want to call it bro science, and go ahead, because it worked out for me time and time again, which already doesn't make it bro science. But if you're getting the same result every time, it is what it is. So having said that, once you get into week 7, you can start checking your trikes on the daily. Trust me, you want to check it because you can have clear one day and then bam, out of nowhere, you're going to have that milky and then you're going to have some amber. Listen, it's happened. So having said that, once you get into week 7, you can start by checking the trikes on the daily, like I said. So guys, it's going to take a few minutes of your time. You know what I'm saying? So what I like to do in that scenario is I like to take my phone with the video function and I'll put it over the jeweler's loop lens and start recording the video function. So when you finally get that still shot, you can pause your video and then zoom in and you'll have all the information that you're gonna need on whether you're ready or not. Personally, I like the trikes to be mostly milky with a little bit of amber in there. Now, as soon as I see a little bit of amber, I like to throw them into the darkness cycle because I feel like you're gonna end up waiting anyway. And I do believe the darkness cycle causes stress the same way you would as if you were to have your lights on. Because either way, it's technically not natural for them because it's something that they're not used to. They're not expecting it. The reason I say to have your lights off rather than having them on, because you're gonna end up saving a little bit of money on electricity. I mean, it might not be much, but it might save a couple cents. So by the time your 36 hours of darkness is over, or if you wanna have your lights on for 24 hours, listen, it's all up to you. The idea is the same, you know what I'm saying? The idea is to give it that final bit of stress to get that little trike boost going. Some people think this is bro science. but it's not. I mean, you could think that way, you know, but I've had the same results doing it this way, run in and run out, so it's up to you. But as soon as you have that little bit of amber, just turn your lights off or leave them on for 36 hours and you're pretty much going to be done with it. Now, if you do it this way, you should end up having about 20% amber, which is where I personally like it. Now, you can play around with the amber percentage, whatever's going to fit your body, whatever's going to fit your needs. This is just what has been the most effective and helpful to me. Now, when it comes time to chop, make this easier for yourselves and just cut it at the base and take one of those light hangers and you can clip it from the bottom branch and just let it hang. And it's going to be good because you can adjust the height of it. Now, when you're drying, I like it between 60% and 68% for about 14 days. You want to have a nice slow dry because that's going to maximize your flavors, your terp profile. You don't want it to dry too quickly because it's going to end up smelling like wet grass and it's just going to be pretty harsh when it's all super dried up super quickly. I know some people like different humidity percentages. You can play around with that, but if you keep it between 60% and 68%, you're going to be solid as long as you have good airflow. So make sure to have an oscillating fan kind of gently blowing your crop. You can have an oscillating fan on the floor and kind of have it, you know, like angled upwards, so you're gonna have kind of like a spinning rotation. I kind of like it that way. As far as the temperature goes during drying, keep it in the low to mid 60s for best results. If you can't and you're in the upper 60s, it's really not that big of a deal. Some people think that my tips are easy, but I'm here to make sure you guys are growing consistently good quality flowers. You can learn extra stuff along the way, but right here, what I am telling you right now, that's gonna be your meat and potatoes. I know this is a longer video than I usually make, but I wanted to make sure to cover as much as I possibly could on the things that do matter for your grow, the things that you are more likely to have questions about. And it's usually a lot of the simple stuff that, you know, you think that you know, but then you got to come back to it and be like, oh man, and what did Scene say again? And also, as a sidebar, I want to thank everyone who's been supportive of my channel over the years. Listen, all right, this is kind of like you know, kind of like a heart-to-heart, you and me. I know sometimes I have a shitty attitude. Listen, I'll own up to it. You know, I can be shitty, but I don't mean to. You know, I'm just really passionate about this hobby and I just want you guys to be able to enjoy horticulture. At that point, we all started somewhere and it can be overwhelming with all the information that's out there. So that's why I want to be able to break everything down so that way it's easy to understand. Even if you feel like you might not have the greenest thumb, I want to show you that everybody can do this. If you put your mind to it, you're gonna do it. If there's something that I might have missed or if you want to share your tips or experiences, hey, drop it in the comment section below. That's what the comment section is for, so we can all kind of exchange ideas. I'm making the video, but you guys still, the comment section is for you guys to explain your side of things, as long as, you know, you guys aren't negative about it. And if you have any other questions that you specifically have for me, hey, reach over to me on Twitch, all right? We have a lot of people asking questions and just hanging out with me. So listen, if you're bored at work or you need an answer to something like super quick, that's honestly gonna be the best way. I try to make myself available as often as I possibly could. Now, yes, I absolutely love playing Dead by Daylight on Twitch, but if I could help you guys answer your questions at the same time or even just share a few laughs, hey, why the hell not, right? Having said that, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I know I haven't been uploading videos nearly as much. We do have a video. I wanna try to come out with another video on Friday covering a lot of the new strain releases, the bean releases that's going to be coming out for May. That's something that I really like doing. I like to share with you guys all the different, you know, different flavors and different strains, different stuff that's out there. It's kind of exciting to me. I'm kind of a nerd about that sort of thing, you know? So having said that, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, and I'll see you guys over on Twitch. I'll see you later.